Sup, YouTubers? Rich from 2RC Productions here, and we're going to give you a little update this weekend on what's going on. We put up a RC video last week. Those of you might have saw that with the 67 Mustang body, which was cool to get back in that scene a little bit. And I got another video I'm going to shoot this week, another RC video. But today I'm going to do a little update and something else we got going on. So you guys know that I started on the Bullitt. I posted on Google+. It's been a week and a half or something since I started to decide that I'm going to tear into it. The Bullitt has some miles on it, and I had a couple of small issues, a slight ticking sound on cold start, and then I was having oil issues, not consuming on the stick, but every so often after long idles, I would get a little bit of a puff of smoke out of the passenger side. And compression is good. I find it very hard to believe that it's a ring issue. The car was well maintained. I have all the oil change receipts from the beginning. It has 118,000 on it right now. And the car rides like it has 20,000 miles on it. So I had a hard time thinking it's the rings, which we don't really know. It could be an oil ring or something sticking on that side. But from all the research I've been doing and just past talking to people and stuff like that, I think it's the valve seals. That would make the most sense. They're rubber, they crack, they get brittle, oil gets past them. So all I did so far was just basically start dismantling a little bit, and I took the passenger side cam cover off to get a look inside there and what's going on. The motor looks extremely clean. It doesn't look like it was, overheated or anything. The oil's super clean. The motor looks great. I know the oil changes were done regularly. What I found immediately on this side, without getting in anything else, is a ton of slap in the chain, which is telling me that the tensioner, I think, is bad on this side, if not both sides. And what I think is happening is when the car is cold, it's like this. They have oil pressure put to them, they're hydraulic, and then they pump up, hold pressure, but they're supposed to hold pressure. I think what's happening is either one blew up or it's bleeding real bad, and then I'm getting this on when it's running cold, and then as soon as it starts to warm up a little bit, it goes away, because I think then the plunger expands, puts tension on the guides. And I look down in there and I don't see any, what I could see wear on the guides. I think the guides are okay, because if you start having issues where the guides fall apart, they go down in the oil pan, the oil get sucked up into the oil pickup, block the oil flow. If this happens to break while you're running it, you could have major issues. The chain, come off and blow the engine up. So something told me, I think it was the big man upstairs, the good Lord was telling me, tear into it, because of Sunday I wasn't planning on tearing into it for a couple months. All of a sudden I just decided I'm going to start tearing into it, and I noticed that right away. So it could have been catastrophic if I left it. So that's the first thing. And basically what we're going to be doing on the Bullitt is tearing the other cam cover off and all the components, tearing the whole front off, all the pulleys, taking the front timing chain covers off. I'm going to be changing the guides, the tensioners, the chains, valve seals on the whole engine, valve springs on the whole engine, and I'm also contemplating pulling the intake manifold off just to pull it off, to clean the intake. I'm thinking of having it bead blasted. My cousin actually owns a business not too far from here that does bead blasting, so I'm thinking about possibly getting the intake bead blasted, make it look like new intake gaskets, obviously new valve cover gaskets, new timing chain gaskets, and we'll see where we're at with that. So that's where we're at. Basically just started tearing that down, getting the car lined up. I covered it. We took the hood off, put the hood up there, covered it up so it's out of the way. It makes it so much better to work on the car. And what I basically got going here is my bench cleared off, and then I set up a little table for now where I started putting the parts and labeling them. I'm going to label everything in bags. I had the 79 to 86 Mustang book, and now I went and picked up the 94 through 2004 Haynes manual, which is really good. They do a really good job. And I've been also doing research on YouTube and stuff and talking to people. And you get a lot of different opinions from people. One guy does this, one guy says that. You can do that. You get to degree the cams. You don't have to degree the cams. You got to do this. You don't do this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to use my common sense from working on engines in the past. I've never worked on a single overhead cam engine, but I've worked on push rod engines a lot, from the time I was a kid. So I'm going to use my past experience and then refer to this manual, which is fantastic. It gives you all the torque specs. It gives you step-by-step, basically, based on a complete teardown and rebuild. That book was like 28 bucks or something. I mean, it's a no-brainer if you're doing any kind of car work. Then I also started making up a list of parts I need. I'm really taking my time with this, and I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. I don't have any pressure. I don't have a time frame that I have to get this thing up and running because I need it for work tomorrow. The car sits. It's only taken out on nice days. So I have all the time in the world. So I have my list of parts that I have to order. And I'm going to also change the water pump out while I'm in there. I'm going to change the thermostat out because I have not done that yet. I did a radiator flush, but I never changed the thermostat. So I'm just going to kind of basically start going through. I got to get a puller for the crankshaft pulley, the cam positioning tool. I mean, there's a lot to it. The valve spring compressor tool. It's this Euro export. That's $80 and free shipping. I've seen people using it. Looks like it works great. Once I have these parts, I'll have them forever because we also have the 01 that I'm working on, the black one, and then we have Richie's 2000, which if we have engine problems in the future, this will be a great learning experience for me to get into the Bullitt and work on it. So having said that, getting on to what today's video is about is Richie's birthday's coming up at the end of September. And, you know, Richie works, he goes to college, a lot of his money is sucked up in gas and, you know, just getting to school and things like that. And he works part-time. He doesn't make a lot of money, and he's been saving money and buying parts for his car, and he takes such excellent care of his car. So we're trying to think of something kind of cool to do for him for his birthday. And this is what I decided after doing. I've been doing a lot of research on exhaust systems since obviously the Bullitt when I put the off-road H on it. And I pretty much listen to every style muffler that you can imagine, from Borla to Magnaflow to Cherry Bomb to Flowmaster to Thrush. You name it, I've listened to samples, I've researched the muffler. So I have a good understanding of what all of them sound like behind the 4.6. The 4.6 has an excellent sound all its own. I've said this before. The 5.0 and the 4.6 are probably, in my opinion, the best sounding V8s ever made. And catalytic converters muffle the sound down. You have to have them in place. We see that when we take the converters off and you put an off-road pipe on there, what a difference in volume it makes. Like the Bullitt is a perfect example. I have stock mufflers on the car, but it sounds like an aftermarket full exhaust system. It sounds incredible. So the catalytic converters with different combinations sometimes can help you or hamper you. Richie's car now does not have stock mufflers. It has the Flowmaster 40s on it, 2-chambered mufflers, welded muffler, and he has the cats in place, and then he has aftermarket tips. Well, what happens with Flowmasters and the catalytic converters, in my opinion, it does nothing for the sound of the 4.6. It has a lot of drone. It has that initial startup and woo, you know, you hear it rumbling a little bit, and then it kind of quiets down, and it's just kind of a monotone sound. When you get in the throttle, you hear the engine a little bit, but it's still very quiet. Now take the converters off and run 40 Flowmasters, and it's a whole different animal. It sounds absolutely amazing. I love that sound. So we're not taking Richie's cats off. We're leaving it emission legal. But I've been trying to think of, you know, maybe changing it up. So I came up with the idea to do his exhaust for him for his birthday. And my thought was originally was going to get some different type of mufflers. Then I was thinking I'm going to take it in, cut the mufflers off, put straight pipe in there, and just have the cats. I've listened to sound samples on that, and it sounds really good. You hear the 4.6. But the problem is it's a little unrefined. You hear this kind of echoey, it's hard to explain, but this kind of wild sound. So then I was looking at different mufflers. I was looking at different resonators, thinking, you know, if we put just a resonator in there, because I've listened to cars where you have a muffler, cats or no cats, and then just by use of adding a resonator makes a whole different sound, just brings the tone down a little bit, you know, kind of puts the sound in control, if that makes sense. So what I ended up doing was searching around. And I picked them up some old school stuff here. Some Cherry Bomb glass packs to go on there. Now, we didn't get the long glass packs. The problem with the glass packs are the longer they are, the quieter they are. So most of the ones you'll find in the stores are like 20-inch, 18-inch, 24, 26-inch. They make real long ones. And the longer they get, the quieter they get, and you hear more of the glass pack sound. These are only 8-inch body, 12-inch total. And the reason they're called glass packs is because in the wall, you can see there's like, you got the little perforations in there, and there's actually fiberglass that's packed in this thing. And what it does is it kind of, as the sound waves are coming in there and they're bouncing off the sidewall of the pipe, it hits that glass and it muffles the sound down and it refines the sound down. But you see there's virtually nothing here. I mean, it's an 8-inch body. So what I what I got these for, my intent was to make it as you're hearing the 4.6 sound, but you're just adding a resonator to it, basically what it is. It's going to muffle the sound a little bit. It's probably going to give it that little bit of glass pack rasp, but not as much as a 20 or a 24 inch or whatever. So this is what we got. 2.5 in, 2.5 out. The stock Mustang has 2.25 exhaust, so it'll be flared up a little bit going into the body. I'm hoping it's going to refine the sound a little bit, come out of his 3.5 inch exhaust magnify, or I think he's got 3s on there, MagnaFlow tips, which will magnify it a little bit. And I'm hoping for really good stuff. So we got an appointment today at 9 o'clock to bring it in, have him cut the 40s off, weld these in, get everything set. And Richie's extremely excited. So we're going to do a little exhaust sample beforehand with the 40s, with the cats, and then afterward. And this is going to make it a ton louder. And Richie loves the sound. And I love the sound too. Some people don't like the sound, but especially being a kid his age, you want to hear the sound. I don't know what it's going to do to drone in the interior, but I'll let you guys know on that. And there is virtually no videos on YouTube. There's one, I shouldn't say. There's one, I think it's a 96 or 97 Mustang GT. Real short clip with bad audio quality where they put some 12-inch welding glass packs in there. But I am going to get, various angles of the sound, revving, driving down the street with the GoPro. The GoPro reproduces exhaust sound extremely well. So what we got here is the Cherry Bomb 87522 CB glass pack, 2.5 in, 2.5 out, straight through design. And it is, the thing with glass packs is they're very inexpensive to buy. They've been around since the 60s. People have used them on all different V8s and 6-cylinders and 4-cylinders and whatever. They flow great. They got a great sound, and they're very inexpensive. These were like $30 a piece. So you got $60 in mufflers, and then our shop time for the guy to rework the pipes and put them on. So not bad to change the sound of the Mustang drastically. So we'll check in with a little exhaust sample of his car before, and then we'll go from there. Okay, Rich back here at 2RC Productions. You got this exhaust sample. We had a little issue with the pipes, and the glass packs would not fit in the location that we wanted to have them, so that didn't work out. But we ended up going with the muffler delete and going with the straight pipes, which sounds absolutely incredible. It sounds way better than I even imagined. I wasn't sure how it would be just going through the pipes, if it was going to be a little wild or whatever, but it sounds really good. It's quiet during idle, but it just really wakes up when you start winding it up and giving it a little bit of gas, man. You just hear that 4.6. You cannot beat the sound of a 4.6 Ford. You just can't beat it. So we're really happy. The guy did a real nice job with the pipes, making up the pipes. Richie's happy with it, so we're gonna get him a little footage when he's driving down the street, and that's it. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Thanks for tuning in, sticking around for the whole video. We covered quite a few points. Until next time, Rich from 2RC Productions signing out. We'll see you later.